Alrighty, we've got our third match of the World Cup. This one between Minionpawn on the USA side and yurikamome for Japan. So far, it's exactly tied after two matches, each going 3-3. So it's going to come down to these last two matches to determine who wins the World Cup. Though it must be noted that so far, the US has had six hard fought victories, and Japan has had six very lucky breaks, in my objective analysis as a spectator. What do we got going on in this kingdom? No village, huh? Yeah, not seeing a village. You got some non-terminal draw with distant shore, though it's also adding estates to your deck. Oh, ahoy there!
Hello. Sorry for being late. I
We're still on
did not see
turn
that they
one
started.
of the first
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
I was just
Very
noting the
good.
lack of a village in this kingdom.
No village. And what else do we have? There's trashing. Plenty of it.
Yeah, you got
Will we
trash
see
with
sickness?
Goat Herd and River Shrine. I think Goat Herd looks like it'll probably be pretty good here. Early on, your opponent has a decent chance of trashing multiple cards in a turn with River Shrine, which could make Goat Herd a laboratory. And then once Sickness activates, they have some curses coming in, which means they'll probably be trashing at least a card a turn on average. So the Goat Herd is rarely going to be a dead card in your hand.
Well, surely we open Sentry, right? As Yuri.
Ooh, the 5-2, I didn't even notice. Yeah, probably so. I think
Looks like a
Sentry
very
is.
similar start to yesterday. Very strong 5-2.
Yes.
Team Japan in the open.
On the 4-3, I think probably River Shrine and Goat Herd.
Mm-hmm.
There's really
And what?
nothing that you're building to here, I don't think. Like you can draw a little bit with Distant Shore. Voyage will not be bad, but you're not accomplishing much on your turns. I think you're going to end up with a bunch of cantrips like Sentry, Old Map, Secret Passage just because of Orchard. That's not going to
Yeah.
accomplish very much.
Mm-hmm. So the courtyard is nearby, so you can just get them for orchard points on your last turn or one of the last turns.
Yeah, like with 6 money, you could just buy 3 courtyards,
Yeah.
and that'd be
4
4
points, yeah.
points.
That's fine. If you already have one, it's a cheap 4 points. I could see it in the open, paired with a sentry. It is a terminal. Don't know.
Yeah,
How sad
I
you
think
are
it's
about
probably better than nothing. Courtyard's not a bad card.
it.
It has some value early on. Maybe you trash it later, maybe you don't.
Yeah. So what are you looking to do with the Odyssey pile? What potential does it have here?
This, I don't actually enjoy the Odyssey pile very much, and I think it's because it ends up being good in kingdoms like this, where you have these sort of awkward halfway engines. Like you're not just playing a 5 card hand each turn. You're drawing a little bit with a card like Old Map or Distant Shore, but also you don't really have full deck control either. You know, you're adding estates, you're playing in a voyage, which gives you like a random 5 card hand that you're not doing much with. It's a very like middle groundy sort of pile. Uh, and I prefer to have a more coherent game plan. Uh, but this seems like a
Yeah.
kingdom where you play with a little bit of each pile and play it by ear.
Yeah. So 3 old maps for Minionpawn, it's kind of nice in the orchard way. I don't think it makes up for having a sentry.
Yeah, winning
I guess.
the split 3-1 is kind of nice because it's 4 extra points. Old map's not a terrible card.
So a voyage probably.
Yeah, I would expect Voyage here.
Mm-hmm. So this is a sunken treasure kingdom as well, right?
Probably so. Just on any given turn, there's a good chance you haven't played all your action cards. So even if there's a card you already
Yeah,
have in your deck, you might be able to gain it off
yeah.
of Sunken Treasure.
And there are a lot of cards that are fine, or you want
Yeah,
like
like a Sunken
the
Treasure
second
gains you a
turn
few
eventually.
sentries or secret
Yeah.
passages. It's justified itself.
hmm So the landscapes do really add a little bit here to this kingdom. It's nice because otherwise it's not so much to do. Yuri is close to playing sentry almost every turn. At least has a chance to.
That was a pretty good
And
draw
right in
there.
there.
Finding Voyage, hitting
hmm
5.
Yep. Well, I like this new Voyage interface. I don't know how far I'm behind the times, but the little counter with the cards you can play.
I
Yeah.
hadn't even noticed that.
So it's new, yeah?
Probably, or I'm not observant. I'm actually unsure.
Oh, Ducat. I guess that's fine. That's better than the copper.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate draw there on the Voyage turn. They played their Courtyard, I think, hoping to draw into the Sunken Treasure and didn't find it.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a very good draw, though. Yeah. Had that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ducat's not so bad here, either on turns where you're playing a River Shrine or Voyage turns. There's scenarios where you might just not even be buying anything and you play some Ducats and you're banking up some money on future
hmm
turns.
His pawn missed their voyage here. Was in the bottom. It's a little unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
think Yuri looks probably ahead to me, the old
Yeah.
maps notwithstanding.
Okay, that's funny. You have the decision between Ducat or the copper, which is easy, but then you could also just trash the Ducat with a sentry
Mhm.
for free. Don't know how.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
a
a
good question.
really
It's not
tough.
obvious to me that Ducat is better than nothing. It's certainly better than a
Yeah.
copper.
Well, it feels very bad to trash the card you just bought, so I
Yeah.
did not.
And they bottom decked it.
Yep.
Yuri still
Well,
has
it's just
two
enough.
estates, which
Yeah.
is
One
unfortunate, but
sentry.
yeah, presumably they'll die soon. At some point, you discard an estate with an old map, and then your sentry can trash it out of the
Yep.
discard.
Yeah. And I would expect to see a secret passage here as well with the sunken treasure. Or
Yeah,
at
Secret
least I
Passage also could be a way to
maybe
line up the estate for
yeah.
a sentry trash.
Yeah. So this might be one of the kingdoms that will take a while because it's not that they're playing slowly, but it's just things are happen. Things you can do in the kingdom are just slow.
I do believe this is a bit of a play speed mismatch. Yuri is on the slower side, and I think Minionpawn
Okay.
tends to be a pretty fast player.
Okay. Well, yeah, as Yuri's from Yuri's POV, I would have auto-clicked the sentry in the opening,
Hmm.
and they took their time to analyze the kingdom. Ooh,
Ooh,
River
that
Shrine.
is a late River Shrine.
hmm So we will be down with the sickness soon.
I wonder what the thinking is behind that.
Yeah, I am. I can't say I'm a fan. I'm not sure if they don't see the synergy with the sentry trashes that is available in the kingdom, or whether they, or maybe they think they are in a place to deal with the sickness better, and that
I don't
is.
know. Even if I wanted to add an extra card just to crash those last one or two estates that might be struggling to line up with Sentry, I think Goatherd would be the more natural add. It's non-terminal and likely to draw you cards, whereas River Shrine's more of a mass trasher. Maybe Yuri does just really want to activate Sickness. I don't know.
hmm
River Shrine can gain 4 costs. Maybe that's it. Just
Right.
play the River Shrine on Voyage turns.
Yeah. I can see that a little bit, but still terminal. I guess the competition is not that fierce, but we also saw an abundance. Also interesting to me. Abundance into silver.
Abundance is awkward with the RS gains. That is true. If you were to have an abundance in, well, actually, this might even apply right here. River Shrine gains during the cleanup phase. So if you
Mm-hmm.
bought nothing, trashed the River Shrine, gained an action card, then it would trigger abundance, giving you 3 money in your cleanup phase when you can't
Oh,
do anything with it. You could easily avoid that by just gaining a treasure instead of an action here. Like that.
another abundance. Let's go. Abundance. Okay. So that should be kind of fine, right?
A sad
What
Sentry
do the?
reveal.
Oh yeah. So Yuri kind of, at least they lost their supposed lead. It feels like the last draws haven't been really all that great, I would say.
I think I'd still take Yuri's position. Minionpawn not finding the voyage again.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yuri's
Yeah,
got the
of
only
course Yuri.
distant shore and the only sunken treasure.
Yeah, that is a good point. So maybe the anticipated distant shore also makes the second treasure, River Shrine, a little more attractive. Presumably, we do still want to get rid of the incoming estates.
Yeah, I think you'd still be happy to trash the estates.
Yeah. And yeah. As Minionpawn, I think I would switch out the voyages and I think Sunken Treasure is a good card to have on top for him.
Yeah. I would think this turn you're
Yeah.
discarding the silver, trashing 2 coppers, and just getting the abundance into play.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I was gonna say annoyingly that
Oh,
causes sickness to trigger on your voyage turn, but Minion Pawn also didn't play a voyage.
oh,
Oh, they didn't even have to discard. Um, as why you can gain another DS if you don't play the first one. Yes, that is true. If you wanted your second treasure to gain another distant shore, you could just elect not to the original one into play. There's plenty of other good stuff to gain here. I think a second sentry is probably my top choice at the
yeah.
moment. You still got junk you'd like to trash, and more of it will come in with your distant shore.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely Sentry, yeah. Okay. So Minionpawn's deck now is really thin with all the abundances in play. Hopefully can be filled with some good cards.
We're building the
Yeah,
abundance mega turn. At some point, they
the
buy a
abundance megaturn.
courtyard and trigger
Oh,
24 money off all the abundances.
yeah, buying all the provinces. That sounds good. Oh, yeah, the the voyage sickness combo. That's funny. So we will see the curses run maybe in 5 turns, essentially, like across
Voyage
players.
a voyage turn might also not be a bad turn to just discard 3 cards.
That is fair.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, so I take back about the thing about Minionpawn coming back. I think it's still Yuri's game to lose. Sunken Treasure is really nice, and but hopefully we see
hmm.
something happening here.
So Minion Pawn rotates to the distant shore, although they don't have a sunken treasure yet themselves,
Mm-hmm. So
and that a tad
presumably
surprising.
Minion had calculated the amount of money here they have after the abundances all come in. I don't know what the exact plan is, but
Hmm.
I guess
I
they could
mean,
also go back to Voyage, and then that leaves the distant shores unreachable.
it's seeming as though Minionpawn does not have a whole lot of non-abundance money. I guess, do you buy a cellar here just to, or a courtyard apparently, just to trigger all the
Mhm.
abundances? Yeah, I don't know. I
I
feel
think
like
that gets
that buy would have been a lot better as a sunken treasure, and then you could gain the distant shore.
yeah. Okay, so here
Yeah, look
we
at
do.
this hand and tell me that distant shore would not be better as a sunken treasure.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. But this is nice that we missed. We can get a distant shore and then go back to the voyages in the voyage turn. So the distant shores are entirely inaccessible to Yuri. Maybe for the rest of the game, at least as long as they have their control.
That is true.
So that is would be nice to get 3 of those, but it's
Wait,
really hard for Minion to get them or buy them. Yeah.
not entirely. If Yuri's lucky enough, you
Oh,
could play the old map on your normal turn, rotate it once,
right.
find it on your voyage turn, rotate it again, and then play a sunken treasure gaining a distant shore. It is
Oh,
possible.
yeah, right. Right. That is true. So sunken treasure again coming in clutch potentially.
Yeah. That rests on a few assumptions.
Yeah. Of course, likely sad to have to play the old map on the voyage turn, but it's not like they line up the best cards somehow. What can we gain here?
Nothing off the river shrine for playing the sunken treasure.
Yeah, presumably we'd
Actually,
rather have
I
the
think
or
did they maybe they didn't know the voyage was on top, and perhaps that changes things. I think quite possibly the correct answer was discard the sunken treasure instead of the ducat, since you're going to gain one thing
mm,
either way, either off of the treasure or the river shrine, and then you could at least play the ducat for one coffer.
oh, but then now you can use the 2 abundances when
Oh,
you
I
gain
see. Like gain
gain
an action and trigger the
yeah,
abundance and buy something immediately. Yeah, that's potentially a
yeah.
reason to do it this way. Oh, they they didn't want to do that.
Okay. They did they didn't want anything. Okay. Gain abundance. Yeah. Mm. Now what?
Just stop here and play all three
Yes.
treasures, or you could play the courtyard for 50-50 chance of drawing into your sunken treasure.
When you say stop, do you mean gain a curse and play those 3 treasures?
I forgot that sickness
Oh.
exists. Okay, new plan. Discard courtyard, sentry, and one ducat, and play two
Yeah.
treasures.
Mhm. Otherwise, yeah. Since this distant shores isn't at the top, can't read the payoff for sunken treasure is
Hmm.
just okay, I guess.
Yeah, and
Otherwise, we could
if
guarantee it,
you
right?
yeah, if you were to oh, I see. Like if you were to discard the treasures, play the sentry, and then play
Yeah.
the courtyard, that would give you a 100% chance
Yeah.
of finding your sunken treasure.
Yeah. But then what do you do with the sunken treasure?
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
the distant shores is the card
can't
you'd
gain a
most want to
sentry.
gain here, and that's
Yeah.
not available.
Yeah. Not available. I guess if the lost map is on top, then
Yeah,
that
I
would
think
work.
I think you just stop here.
But
Like
that's
those bottom six cards have a sunken or not a sunken treasure. They have the distant shore and they have the old map. So that's a good set of starting
mhm.
cards to kick off your next turn. Just leave those there. Oh.
Okay. I mean, that works. That is going for the high roll and getting rewarded. I mean,
It did draw into the second
okay.
treasure.
Yeah, can gain a sentry now, which comes with 4 points. I guess we did talk about the cantrips a little, like they're just good to have with Orchard, but they're also bad on the voyage turns.
Hyrule only exists in The
I
Legend of Zelda. That's not true. It's also in Super Smash Bros.
I am lost. Did one of us say Hyrule or
I assume they were
I
referencing someone saying Hyrule.
did we say that? I did say that probably. Yeah, okay. Thank you for correcting them.
That was my favorite stage in Super Smash Bros. Melee, the Hyrule Temple. The big one.
Mm. Is that a hot take?
I
Or
don't think so.
did you agree?
Well, I think
Is
if
it
you're a very
like
competitive
breaking a
player, then the answer is like Final Destination. I think
Mhm.
anyone who played it casually liked Hyrule Temple.
Okay. So it's more like goons. Oh.
What is the best Dominion analogy? I think
Yeah.
it's like the Prince of Dominion, where like it's objectively not the most
Oh,
strategic, but it's a big thing that leads to very long games.
okay. Man, I haven't had a Prince game in a while.
Prince is fun. I enjoy Prince.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, there's one today. What's the ban list? Anything spicy? Joust. Yeah,
Hmm.
no Prince on it. Very good.
Yeah, everything banned I would describe as being very predictable. I love Black Market, but it is a somewhat polarizing card, and some folks don't. All of these are cards that at least a large contingent of people dislike. What about the dislike
Yeah,
list?
there's an orange card on it. That's surprising.
Secret Cave. I assume they don't dislike the Secret Cave itself. They probably dislike Magic
Yeah,
Lamp, which can be fairly swingy.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I lost a league match or a league game uh, to an earlier Magic Lamp activation yesterday. Um,
Mhm. Do you ever change your ban list whether you're playing a weaker or stronger opponent?
the only things that come to mind are I banned Captain against RTT.
Okay. Oh, it's warfare. Okay,
Yeah,
I see.
psychological warfare for I think that was
Did you?
the third place match of the 2021 championships, 2022, one of those years.
I see.
Um,
Oh, Captain is so old. The card. Wow.
yeah, Captain is 2019.
Yeah.
It's been
Wow.
around.
Okay. It's been a ride. It's half of my
Yeah,
Minion time. Okay. Whoa.
and
Okay.
I banned March versus Sangatsu for the quarterfinals match of the 2020 something or other. They all blend together.
Yeah. Why is that a reference with
That's
March
what
and?
Sangatsu's name means. Is March. Not even.
Oh.
It's not even the
Uh,
same definition of March because like the card is obviously about like marching, not the season or
yeah.
the month March. So the pun doesn't even work
Month.
in either language. But
And I
I need someone would appreciate it. That was there for Lemon Spawn.
okay. Very good. Get the crowd on your side. So I do think we split the shores, right? Sorry if you already responded to that.
I haven't even been paying attention. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Minionpawn clearly has at least one of them. Yuri got one.
Oh, I see two in
Yeah.
play. So
Yeah, so it's 2-all.
yeah, some estates now in deck as well.
Only one of the cards on the dislike list that jumped out to me as a little bit atypical was Sinister Plot. I find Sinister Plot to be a very
Yeah.
pleasant project to play with. I'm not sure who has an issue with it or why.
I mean that's one where I would say it's hard to play. So that's maybe why I would put it on a dislike
Possibly,
list.
it's too
People
difficult.
aren't outplaying me with me. Yeah.
I think,
That's why I have Donate on my ban list, for example, as well.
yeah.
Not because I don't like it, it's just yeah.
There's certainly some cards
Jester
I like
is
that are on these lists, like Black Market and
yeah,
Divine Wind, but like they're cards that I could
yeah.
see not being everyone's taste.
Mhm. Yeah.
Jester,
Black Market
I
is
don't
super
enjoy
good.
Jester very much. I appreciate whoever bans Jester or dislikes Jester.
Isn't that so weak in these days?
It is
Modern
certainly a
Dominion.
weak card. It is not strong.
Yeah.
It's one of those cards where like it's I think it's not worth a spot on the list because there's stuff that's annoying and more often relevant. But it is a card that's annoying.
Yeah. We
Ninja
got
is
Sunken Treasure
such an
for a
unfortunate
very
card.
short. uh, That's that the political statement version of your opinion?
I I so appreciated when the it was it last year's, I think it was last, or I guess technically 2 years ago now, the Dominion Online Championship where they interviewed all the players and asked them all about how they felt about Ninja, and most of them were like, "Yeah, that card's terrible." I felt so validated.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree. Yeah. It's really yeah, player one Dominion and it sucks. Yep.
As evidence of how awful Ninja is, I'll point out that Lemon Spawn likes it. That's usually a pretty big red
Oh,
flag.
okay. I thought Lemon Spawn was the one I had with Ghost Ship liking. So I
Case in point.
can't. Okay, the Ghost Ship is gone because we frigate now. I think more boats are better, but
Frigate
I
versus
think
Ghost Ship. Those are both pretty terrible cards.
oh yeah. I think yeah. I think I prefer Ghost Ship.
They're
I'm
awful in
a
very
Ghost
different ways.
Shipper.
Ghost Ship's problem was the first player to get it would often just win the game because if one player is playing Ghost Ship consistently, the other players never getting anything going. And so you have this early, 5-2 where someone spikes five and then the game ends. Frigate is kind of the opposite problem, which is like you get to play the first few turns just fine as if you're about to play Dominion. And then somewhere halfway through the game, you both buy two copies of Frigate, and then you're like, all right, we can't play Dominion anymore. And then the game is just going through the motions
Yeah.
until someone mercifully resigns.
So what card do you miss that has been depreciated?
Of all of the cards that have been eliminated, there's honestly none that I really miss.
No.
If I had to pick one, it would actually be Pirate Ship, uh,
Oh,
which is atypical because most of the worst cards in Dominion are top deck attacks like Swindler and Knights, and Pirate Ship is one such
yeah.
card. But Pirate Ship is like just the right power level for a top deck attack, which is that like 90% of the time you ignore it. And then
Oh,
every so often you're like, I'm gonna go for pirate ship this time, and you try it out and you pull out a pirate ship victory, and
yeah.
that's really fun. Also, the
Yeah.
artwork,
You
it is
bullet
just
it.
it is so tragic what has happened to the island and native village artwork with pirate ship no longer
Oh,
existing.
yeah. The
Uh,
cohesive nature of Dominion art has been
yeah,
severely damaged by
they,
the
they
lack of
should have
pirate ship. Yeah.
gotten the Corsair art or some card replacing pirate ship and like drawn a new card in place that still lined up with the native village
Yeah.
and island art. Um,
Oh yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, the island mat, the native village mat, and the pirate ship mat, if you put the art side by side, it makes one big painting and they all fit together. Or it did.
It did.
Yeah.
Back in 2017 Dominion or I guess that's not that old.
Yeah, I think
It's not
Pirate
second
Ship
edition, but
disappeared in what, 2022? I think.
okay.
Was when Seaside Second Edition happened. I think that was early 2022. Could be wrong about that. Um,
Yeah.
Lemon Spawn
You
points
sound
to Counting
confident.
House. Counting House was also very fun when it was relevant. It was just relevant so infrequently as to not quite be worth it.
Mhm.
Like if Counting House were in the like
And
gainable 10% of the time range instead of 2% of the time range, I would be a Counting House defender because it was fun trying to make it work.
yeah. What about Coppersmith?
That was before my time.
Oh, that was before your time.
Coppersmith, I
Interesting.
think, left in 2016, and I started playing it like
Yeah.
around the turn of 2017 to 2018.
Mhm. And you can't imagine the fun we
I
had.
can't.
That
Actually, I say
yeah.
that. I do believe
Imagine,
I have access to
imagine.
the first editions on the Templegate client. I've never bothered to play with Coppersmith, but I could have.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could have
And
learned.
you can force your Counting House Coppersmith games
Yeah.
and
Counting House Traveling
Stellar
Fair was a
or
fun
whatever.
combo.
Oh, that was boring. No, just you just won
I
it
thought it
seven
was more
turns.
interesting than
Yeah,
a lot of the other degenerate two card combos. Like Lurker Hunting Ground, it doesn't involve any thinking. I remember playing a Counting House
yeah.
Traveling Fair game for a league match that was like over an hour long and involved a bunch of complicated
Wow.
decisions. I
Okay.
lost, but it was fun.
Do you have it recorded?
Yeah, it was in my. I
Yeah.
think it was for the B League Championship match versus not Tracer, but Terra Cubist a few years back.
There was okay. There was a B League Championship and Counting House existing at the same time. Okay, that's also surprising to me. Thought those championship matches were a newer thing.
Yeah, there's just enough overlap. It must have been one of the first ones.
That long ago.
Yeah, I think Captain left about twice as long ago as Counting House left. Or Captain arrived twice as long ago as Counting House left.
Okay. So we had Base Intrigue was basically 2017, and then the next ones are like 5 years later. Okay.
Yeah, there's a big gap between second editions.
Hmm.
Still holding out for the Intrigue third edition that gets rid of Swindler.
Oh, the Swindler. Yeah. And what did we keep? It's not Harem anymore. It's Farm now. Yeah. Can
Oh
you add that there
yeah.
too?
So that was
Sounds
separate
good.
from the Intrigue second edition. Farm
Yeah.
just dropped all of its own accord.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it got just renamed, right? But
Yeah.
I remember being shocked that it survived the
Hmm.
first purge.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
What
it's
else?
not very.
What were the old cards in Dominion Intrigue that were worse than Harem for removing? Um,
Tribute was honestly it was just swingy, but it was fine. It was just weak, a little weak. You could have kept that one. Tribute
cards.
was fine. Great Hall, I guess with Mill, it's just a good riddance. Was pretty boring. Um, yeah. Oh, Secret Chamber was actually the worst card in Dominion
Okay, I've got them up.
ever. Yeah,
Secret
yeah,
Chamber. Okay, it's Vault without the draw and Storm without the plus buy.
yeah.
Hmm. When another player plays an attack card, you may reveal this from your hand. If you do, plus two cards, then put two cards on top. Okay.
Great
Is
Swindler
that
defense.
worse than Adventurer? I haven't played with Adventurer either, but that was the one I remember being particularly terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Adventure is also very bad. Yeah.
I've always had a fascination with Great
Prob-
Hall. I've never played a game with Great Hall, but I just thought it was so interesting having a card that's just pure cantrip victory points. The simplicity is elegant.
Yeah. I think the problem with the Secret Chamber was that it cost two, right? So sometimes we were tempted to think maybe in this spot you
Could
just
be
pick it
worth it.
up. Maybe it's better than nothing. Yeah. And adventure, you never had to ask that question. It was just, oh, there's procession in the game, so I can't process my 5 costs.
I quite
Oh,
like
Scout was in there as well. True.
I like storeroom. Storeroom seems like the fixed secret chamber.
Yeah, it's usable. Scout was also. We had a person in the community that had the personality that Scout was an okay card, and they made Dan Brooks play a game of 9 green Kingdom cards and Scout, and Dan still didn't buy Scout because Island
Funny.
Big Money is superior to the Scout engine. Heard it here first. Is Island still in the game? Yeah, right?
Yes. Island
Yes.
remains.
Yeah. That was my favorite card when I first played with Intrigue. Seaside. It was exiling before.
Island is fun. Island is just
Yeah.
it's a very Dominion-y card.
It's a Dominion card. Yeah.
It encapsulates
Mhm.
what Dominion is supposed to be. You're gradually improving the quality of your deck. It's a long-term
Yep.
investment. Could have yurikamome won on turn 11?
There's a game going on. The
Yeah, I
chat
don't know why you're talking about the
tells
game.
me.
More importantly, old card. I read one of the riddles was about um Great Hall, and everyone thought it was Tomb. I forget which number that one was.
I don't know what riddles we're
Oh,
talking
that
about.
was for the Advent season this year.
Advent. Oh,
There was a
I
series of Dominion riddles to
missed
solve,
it.
and one of
Okay.
the ones that people struggle with was the one about Great
Yeah.
Hall. Everyone's already forgotten it.
Yeah. And you were like, I wasn't there. I wasn't around. That's
Yeah, I never even
fair.
played with it. I always had a fascination with Great Hall. Mm.
So what's the third pile that people are looking at? And probably courtyards, yeah.
Yes, I guess Courtyard doesn't cost a buy. Estate is empty and Curse is low.
Hmm. So does Minionpawn have some orchard points that make catching up a little bit easier? Presumably they don't have the third courtyard yet. Courtyards are nearby. Okay.
Ooh, Minion Pawn has to. No, they don't have to. They bought a Courtyard because they needed the 4 points, but they're now lowering a relevant pile.
Hmm. So is there an alternative to province? There's 3 secret passages gone. Are they all in one deck? That would be sad.
No, it is 2 for Yuri and 1 for
Oh,
Minion Pawn.
okay. Okay, 3 sellers. I'm not sure if this is that already? I guess point maximization. Maybe it's necessary.
Yeah, that was marginally more points than just buying a province.
Yeah.
Is that better?
But I would say worst deck, yeah.
Unclear. As Minion Pawn, you definitely wanted to desperately score a bunch of points there so as to minimize the chance that Yuri wins immediately on the Courtyard pile out. Because Yuri will have to take -2 points, presumably, to empty the curses. I think Yuri will probably win this turn. This is looking like it's a win. It's looking a lot like it's a win. This is a 40-minute game one, and not even a very strong kingdom at that.
Yeah. A little sad for a 40-minute kingdom. But yeah. What did we learn about Dominion in this game? Besides about first edition cards.
Some other good.
Anything surprising they did? Tank and treasure, good. I would take away.
Reckless World Championships. That'd be interesting.
Mhm.
Have you played with the new timers yet?
I have not. I just saw the interface. Hasty is fine to just chill and play. I mean, I'm a fairly fast player, I would say. And Reckless is the one that gets hard, right?
Yeah, Reckless is like the bullet speed Dominion. I would say,
Mhm.
for anyone who's played chess, I think it's more like 2 minute Dominion than 1 minute Dominion. If I were to compare it to like amount of time pressure, but it's still pretty fast. You feel it in the in game sometimes.
Mhm.
Maybe 2+1 would be a better analogy because there's an increment. Yeah, 2-2.
Okay, is this a win?
Yeah, by a decent
Yes,
margin.
decent margin. So it wasn't the difference between the lowering. So Yuri wins on minions start,
Yep.
and we
Nobody's got
got
the
New
5-2
Kingdom.
this time. We got a lot of draw with
Yeah, the side.
Storyteller, Wharf,
Mhm.
Apprentice, Imps off of Devil's Workshop. We got Villages with Mountain Village and Hideout, Trashing with Apprentice and Transmogrify and Hideout. Plus buy is Wharf or Farmer's Market. Seems like you got plenty of all the stuff. Probably want Ironworks or two, pick up some villages, play with some wharves, and maybe a few storytellers. I don't think
Mhm.
Swamp Hag looks all that good here.
Yeah, Swarm Pack was also such a cool card when it came out to me. I think
Mm,
it's pretty weak, right? I don't know. Maybe there's still some kingdoms where
I would say Swamp Hag is
this
definitely
will
on the
still
weaker
sell.
side nowadays for
Yeah,
sure.
that's so fun. But not yet in this kingdom. I don't think we will see any of them. There's some competition on the 5 cost side.
But here's a question. Maybe you've already seen the answer, but if you haven't, it'll be interesting. So, Geronimo did a simulation of a four-player game where all you can buy is one of the four cursors: Swamp Hag, Witch, Sea Witch, or Young Witch. And so it's a four-player game where each
Hmm.
of the players gets access to one of those cards, otherwise plays big money.
Yeah.
What's the order
Okay.
of win percents? Uh, Worst to best between
Uh,
Witch, Sea Witch,
yeah.
Swamp Hag, and Young Witch.
I would say Sea Witch.
Is the best or the worst?
Witch. Yeah, the best.
Okay.
Yeah, Young Witch is kind of interesting. You can't buy Bane, you can open it. So I would make a spicy take and say Young Witch is second, and then Witch, and then what was the last one?
Swamp
Swamp
Hag.
Pack?
That's how we got on this.
Yeah, Swamp Pack.
Swamp Hag last.
Yeah.
Very close. I believe you made the same mistake as Haka.
Okay.
So Sea Witch is the
Okay.
best by like a mile. It's drawing and it's
Okay.
sifting. The
Yeah.
sifting's great in a junky big money
Hmm.
game. Young Witch
Yeah.
is actually quite good in like rudimentary big money because the sifting is
Yeah.
valuable and it's like you said you can open it.
Hmm.
But
And
Swamp
open.
Hag beats out Witch. Turns out 3 coins is a lot better than drawing
Oh.
2 cards if your deck kind of sucks.
Oh. That is interesting. Okay. I'm happy I didn't put Witch above Young Witch.
Yep.
But yeah, that's for my next big money 4-player game. I'll keep that in mind.
Both players opened
So two
Hideout over Transmogrify, which I find quite surprising and wrong.
and two transmogrifies. We don't. Do we want to do a lot of? I guess we can gain 4 costs and move them later.
Yeah, I would. In general, you want to trash your estates before your copper, so the biggest hindrance to your deck.
Mhm.
And Hideout can trash estates, but it's not good at it. Whereas Transmogrify is good at trashing estates. So I think Transmogrify looks pretty automatic as an opening. The other thing you would consider would be like Ironworks, maybe delaying trashing. and having a better chance of hitting
Mhm.
5.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lemon Spawn, I think
So
your opening sounds more reasonable than what both players did.
you're one of the players that draw Transmogrify turn 3, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, Transmogrify turn
That's
3 means you have a good
very
chance of hitting 5 on turn 4, and that's getting to have your cake and eat
yeah.
it too.
Yeah,
Ironworks is
this
not bad at hitting
especially
5, because you could gain a silver if you happen to have it with 4 money in hand.
yeah. Especially as player 2, right? That's a huge upside. The
Mhm.
Transmogrify. I guess it's a little weak in this kingdom because the 3s are silver, essentially. But
Yep.
silver's not that bad in the Wolf Kingdom.
I just can't help but notice
Oh,
these
what?
players keep hitting 4 because they keep drawing 2 estates.
Okay.
And because they've
I
trashed all their
have a
coppers.
question.
Yes.
There are 2 Transmogrifies on the mat. Should Yuri not get a mountain village from the T-Mog and
Like
keep
at
a
at the
turn
start
on
of the previous
hitting
turn?
on this turn? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what their opening hand was. Maybe it's just no. The silver was drawn, so there was maybe just not a good T-Mog thing.
Yeah, all the cards you would have wanted to transmogrify, the silver and the 2 estates, were drawn mid-turn.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the only hideout left, so you can't really get rid of that easily. With T-Mog, I was surprised they were playing so fast, because usually there's some
Yep.
potential somewhere that you need to find. Okay, Minionpawn is very thin. 2 hideouts. Hopefully they can transmogrify one of them next turn.
Yeah, on the one hand, with Wharf and Storyteller in the
Yeah,
Kingdom, you don't even need to be all that thin because you could draw through a ton of cards here as needed. But Ironworks
yeah,
does reward you for being very thin and having overdraw because you can gain stuff, then play that and gain more stuff, and then convert extra draw into additional gains. Uh,
yeah. Mm.
we're still struggling to hit 5. I think another Ironworks, another silver
Again,
looks in order here to me.
yeah. Ooh.
I go with Mountain Village.
So village, that then probably means planning on getting rid of one of the hideouts, or hoping that will
I
work
don't know.
out
Like
that
I would
way.
think your transmogrify is probably on estate into silver duty, so it's going to be a turn before you can
Okay,
trash the additional hideouts.
okay. Two
I would have
turns even
thought.
then, yeah.
I would want a second
Now the
Ironworks.
second. Mm-hmm. Oh, farmer's market, spicy.
You have a million
You don't
villages.
really need to buy, but yeah, you do have villages.
Yuri does not find any villages.
Yeah, but
But they do have two
T-Mog
transmog.
surely
Yeah, transmogrify will solve this
turn
problem.
into a village. Yeah, yeah. They're playing quite fast in Dicht's Kingdom, right? Uh,
JH says,
okay.
I just got here. Is hideout so clear in the open? No, everybody else hated that except the 2 people playing the game. I don't know what they saw in hideout. I think Transmogrify Silver just seemed pretty automatic. I think the backup opening would be Ironwork Silver.
Yeah. What's the upside with hideouts? Silver, you probably hit like
Don't
4/4
know.
or something. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Either you're
I do
trashing an
like a
estate,
hideout, but
which isn't even really trashing, or you're trashing a copper, and I don't know, trashing copper in the opening is just like an even worse Spice Merchant.
yeah. Yuri tells still 2 estates. Interesting,
Think
might
you're
have a mid counter for.
probably trashing an estate here as Yuri with this hideout, and then Ironworks gains a silver, so you can buy another 5 cost. Probably a third wharf.
Yeah. Yeah, that minion doesn't have a second wharf is probably really sad. So yeah, of course I'm just rooting for another 3-3 here. So I'm a little
Yeah, like
I'm a
3
little
wins for
favoring the wins.
Minionpawn and then 3
Yeah.
more wins for Minionpawn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all these matches are scheduled in the morning for Americans and the evening for the Japanese. So clearly the tides are going to turn back in Minionpawn's favor once
Hmm.
Minionpawn wakes up and Yuri gets sleepy.
Hmm. So the slower the kingdoms, the
Yeah, it's in
sooner
Minionpawn's interest to draw
America
things
wakes
out.
up. Yeah. We got 40 viewers. That's nice to see. Well, the players. Now we
When
see
I
the
played
nice Mountain Village hideout synergy
Mhm.
in action. Oh no, we can gain something. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Can't gain a wharf though.
Gain an Ironworks. Yeah, I think Ironworks is a reasonable gain. I'd have also considered getting a Transmogrify back down in case you needed it for next turn.
Yeah. So this hand looks too nice. I mean, you Timog is silver, I guess. Into something. Is this something you want? Do you need a village? Another ironworks, maybe?
Sorry, I got a little distracted. In Yuri's hand right now,
Mm-hmm. You have a
I
Timog, gotta call it right.
I
My
think I'd call
suggestion
the
was silver to ironworks.
Transmogrify. I'd be happy to turn the silver into another village, and then
Okay.
if you want the silver back, you can gain it with Ironworks in a moment.
Yeah.
What are folks saying? Fearcool says, when I played, I literally played right after I woke up. Yeah, similar for me. Being Ironworks.
Yeah. I
Farmer's Market
I played
confuses me, says Russ. Yeah, I didn't get the Farmer's Market either.
in the Germany America finals of 2018, I think. Yeah, I played in on 6 a.m. Before going to sleep. It was a very, very late match on a weekend. Don't tell my teammates that.
I think I probably play better in morning matches than evening matches if I had to guess.
Oh, you have no data. That's disappointing.
I have not kept track closely.
Mm, okay.
Lemon Spawn says Ironworks seems strictly better than a farmer's market. I believe the farmer's market was bought with 3 money, so that wouldn't have been the trade-off. It would have been,
It's a classic silver test.
yeah, the
Is the
silver
silver
test.
test, has that been a thing? Or had it been already
Mhm.
abandoned when you started playing? Discarded for the nothing test?
Yuri seems close to 1, assuming they execute down the stretch. That's probably right. Yeah. Number of wharfs seems like a good proxy
Mm.
for who's ahead right now.
Yeah, and especially you need to draw the wharf here. Ouch.
Oh, I think you're gaining an estate off this Ironworks just to try drawing one.
Uh, Drawing one is the one you have, right? And if you draw the mountain village, that will draw the estate. So
Yeah,
that
the
has to
Mountain
be
Village
the
would be particularly
it
bad there.
has to be the yeah. So no wharf in play. Nothing to teamwork here. So Looks like another primetime Japan game.
The hideout, probably. How many hideouts does Yuri have left?
Oh, there has been a 5th hideout gained. Okay. Then probably 2.
Yuri had 3 hideouts.
Yeah. They trashed 1.
Yeah,
They
so they
trashed
have 2
Timok.
hideouts.
Wow. That is not right, right?
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Transmogrify is a lovely card. These players do not respect it enough. Yeah, I think Hideout to Wharf looks way better than Transmogrify to Wharf.
So next turns the hideouts will be kind of hard to play. But maybe we can regain a Timok here and put it in play.
Not really sure what the plan is here.
Why do we love Timok so much? Well, I still remember the Adventures Previews week where Last Footnote had like an introduction, introduced one card, and that was Timok, and said it was his favorite card ever.
Artwork is nice.
God.
The Snakebird.
And it can turn your hideout, which you don't need anymore, into a 5 cost at the start of your turn. When you absolutely need that dwarf. How cool is that?
These players seem to really enjoy their hideouts more than their Transmogrifies, and I cannot defend that. So you got Overdraw here. I would expect a few more Ironworks gains. Like gain 2 Ironworks, draw them, then you can gain some silvers, draw those with Wharf, and play your Farmer's Market.
Yeah.
Actually, you couldn't gain 2 silvers. You could do like Ironworks, Ironworks, gain 2 more Ironworkses, gain 1 more silver and 1 more Transmogrify, then play Wharf and Farmer's Market, and all that would work out, I believe.
But I just noticed that Minion managed to trick Yuri into also gaining a farmer's market. So
Yeah, that's
maybe there's museum somewhere on the second page.
yeah. Like Farmer's Market seems like a thing that you often get when you need the plus buy. You know, like oh god, what was the what was the first edition base card that was 2 money and a buy? Woodcutter.
Woodcutter.
It's like a woodcutter. And they don't need the buy here when you got a bunch of wharfs.
So you were around for trade route as only a plus buy, yeah?
Yes, I remember trade route.
Yeah.
What a card!
What a card. No gains, just trade route as plus buy. Need to trash something each time. Yeah.
Ah, okay. They go with 2 more farmers markets, or 1 more farmers market, 2 total. Why does
Wait,
Woodworkers Guild have to do with trashing? What? Uh,
Woodworkers Guild. Ooh.
what's the theme
I do
there?
not know the. I do not know the. What are those called? The
The
favorite
allies?
things. The allies. What they do from the name is how much the minions
Woodworkers
have
Guild
to
is the
pay.
one that's like advance.
Ah, okay, yeah. I mean, you have to trash a card to gain a card. That's like trade route plus buy. But how is it like Woodworkers?
I guess it's kind of
Woodcutter?
like remodel
Yeah.
or carpenter maybe. Is it the thematic similarity there?
Ooh, apprentice. Interesting. That's just making sure you're not dudding. I guess you can draw all the ironworks you gain, so pile
Yeah,
out.
they got a bunch of ironworks that can be trashed
Yeah.
or a hideout. Silly
Just
Potter suggests
more
just to
pile.
transmogrify pile out into other pile out. I like that.
Just call all the T-Mogs. Yeah. Yeah, the allies are hard to remember because they don't come up that often, right? Only 9 kingdom cards or
Yeah, I
so.
think statistically, allies are less likely to show up in most things because you only see the allies when you see one of the liaisons in the kingdom, and then there's like 20 allies it could be.
Yeah. And you almost very rarely see colonies nowadays, and that is
Mhm.
quite a bit more likely, right? I think. Actually, maybe
Yeah, I think
that
colony
is not
should be
so
more
likely.
likely. More likely than any individual ally for sure.
Oh, that is for sure, yeah. But yeah,
Nothing
and then
confuses me
sometimes
more
the
than monkey versus Way of the Monkey. Yeah, why is Way of the Monkey plus buy?
Way of the Monkey came first, right? Or is that also?
Yes, that's right.
hmm And the monkey is sometimes on the ship, or why is that in Seaside now? I'm
In the art, the monkey is
unsure
on
what
a
they're
ship.
doing. Yeah, I mean it has to
Yeah,
because it's in Seaside, but why is it in Seaside in the first place?
yeah. The one that gets me is Forest Dwellers not giving plus buy.
Mm. Oh,
That would
that's
fit with
Woodcutter.
Forest's Gift and Sacred Grove
Yeah,
and Woodcutter. It sounds like a thing that
yeah.
should give plus buy. Also, Market Town sounds like a thing that would give plus buy, and neither of those is the plus buy ally. Instead, Band of Nomads gives plus buy.
Oh yeah. Nomad Camp, is that still
Nope,
around?
nope,
Nope,
Nomad
right?
Camp is gone.
No,
But
no more.
the replacement is called Nomads.
Oh, oh, is there a win here? Or what is happening?
Yeah,
Oh,
now there's a
okay.
win.
That we just played fast and didn't get there? Did we try to get there? Or did we just
I'm guessing
give up?
Minionpawn was trying to make some pile out happen, and then it didn't happen, and then
Yeah.
they realized that Yuri was about to win on the next turn.
hmm
Okay.
Okay,
Berserker
so
has
where's
overcome the odds and managed to appear in this kingdom. Alas.
what a guy.
Riverboat is a livery in this kingdom. The only kind of village is Sailor. Lets you play additional sailors or riverboats.
Oh,
So pretty terminal limited. There's collection.
hmm
Huh.
very sad collection kingdom.
Yeah, I think you probably are still playing with collection. Get
hmm
get thin with sailors. You could draw a little bit with an advisor, and then if you play
Yeah.
a riverboat each turn, and then
hmm
like imagine having a riverboat in play and buying a berserker. Then you get a berserker, you get a horse off the berserker, you gain a 4 cost card off the berserker, you get a horse off of that. That's 4 points per collection.
Nice. So, what are your thoughts on Fortune Hunter?
Certainly not in this kingdom, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. Feels a
Uh,
little like a Intrigue first edition card that snuck its way into
yeah, it's definitely one of the weakest
the
cards
Hunter variant.
from Plunder. Ugh. So yeah,
Fairy
for
Sailor.
sure
Why not?
Sailor, and I
Why
think
not Fairy Sailor? Sailor.
Fairy Sailor, Sailor River Boar says Russ.
Don't we want to riverboard the once we have played the Sailor? I guess that
Yeah,
still need.
So
We
there's
shouldn't.
some rationale to like if you wanted to play a riverboat on the second shuffle, what you could do is just open with a sailor and then buy riverboat the turn you had the sailor, and you're getting it in play as fast as if you just bought riverboat the previous shuffle. The downside, of course, is maybe you draw sailor with 2 estates, and so I assume that's the logic of the fairy sailor opening that Maho is suggesting is if you happen to see sailor with 2 money, you can still buy a sailor and be happy. I think that's a reasonable open.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Sailor, Riverboat, Sailor, and then cost reduced Sailor both sound fine. Sailor Silver wouldn't be terrible for hitting 5. Um, Probably not Gladiator just because it's terminal.
would riverboar be an attack?
River Boar. I think it'd be a cantrip of some sort. Pig
Oh,
from Enchantress and Way of the Pig seem to have a cantripy theme.
okay. But aren't
So
they kind of
maybe it's
scary?
like a +1 card, +1 action next turn.
What do you fairy? Sorry, I lost the plot a little. Did you
Uh,
just say
I think
wanna?
Sailor makes sense as a fairy target And that's helping you in the circumstance where you draw sailor, 2 coppers, and 2 estates. You'd still have a uh 2 cost card that you could buy and get in play. I think if you find sailor and 3 coppers, probably buying riverboat is better. Maybe, that's not even clear. Maybe you would just buy second sailor. Regardless, early in the game, the thinning is probably more valuable. Okay, yeah, both players like that opening. It would appear. Be sure not to
But
ferry
they,
Berserker. You'd be sad if you did that because Berserker gains a card
yeah.
cheaper than it, and so if Berserker costs 3, you're gaining estates or slaves.
Oh. Okay, so here we see the sailor, but there are also 2 estates down there. So
Collection
early
already.
collection. I guess we can't put the orange card in play. Bye bye. But Berserker would be interesting, right? But Tracer was not a fan. So
Uh,
okay.
I think Berserker will definitely get gained later in the game once you've got collections in play. Um, the
Oh,
terminal
this
space is
is
kind of
nice.
limited early, and I think Riverboat's probably a better use of that space.
Mm-hmm. Look at this here. We didn't play the second sailor, so we can put a riverboat in play. That is nice, I think.
Yeah, it was a sad draw otherwise
Yeah.
because they were hitting one
The
money.
set draw, yeah. Yeah, so make the best out of the set draw.
Yeah, I think I like the Riverboat. A second sailor would also have been reasonable.
Yep. Yeah.
If we renamed Harem to Farm, we can make caravans into capybaras.
Mm.
It would fit about as well with the seaside theme as Caravan does.
Yeah, right. We have some expansions where Caravan would fit in more nicely these days, right?
Yeah.
That's
Which one's Distant Lands? That's Adventures, right? Caravan would fit with
that's
Adventures.
adventurous. Yeah. Or Hinterlands. No.
Yeah, Hinterlands makes sense too.
Yeah. Yeah, why is Fleet the extra turn?
Why is Fleet an extra turn? Yeah, Fleet seems rather poorly themed. For the thing that's called Fleet, it's like the slowest effect in the game. It literally doesn't even happen until after the game is ended.
Yeah. So it's maybe really slow. It's a warship. Warships.
It's Fleet from One Piece. That reference is being lost on me.
That would be really funny if that were true. I also have no idea what reference means, but if DVX decided that is.
Ah, I see. Following now. I know enough about One Piece to know it's really, really long. River Sea things are next turny. The other thing that's always bugged me a bit about Fleet is I don't have the exact text, but it's something like after the game is over, take another turn. But it doesn't say after the game would end, take one more turn. It just says after the game ends, take one more turn, which seems to imply that
Okay.
the turn you're taking is just a
Yeah.
consolation lap and does not affect the final standings. If
Yeah.
read literally.
Okay. Discard the Berserker. Had a riverboat in hand. Very nice.
Sailor collection, I
Yeah.
presume here.
Oh, nice. So who do you think is ahead here? So this looked like a sad turn from Yuri. Maybe.
I'm gonna guess Minionpawn. He's got more points. And this seems like a kingdom where that might matter. I think collections are 2 each.
Yeah. I guess it matters in the sense that good things were happening, not in the sense that points are good at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just seems like one of those kingdoms where you might try a little bit too much to make realistic things happen, like getting a bunch of collections and taking advisors and trying to draw them all. And the player who took like just a few collections and started clicking Berserker every turn and has a deck that's kind of garbage, manages to keep a points lead and pile out before your thing
Mhm.
happens, I'd be worried about that.
Mhm.
Advisors should be good. Yeah, I think Advisor's still a good card. Uh,
Mhm.
I suspect it might make a lot of sense to click cards that score you immediate points, like Berserker gaining advisors, and then you have a bunch of Berserkers in your deck you can't really play, but you got 2 extra points off of the Berserker, and you got extra horse off the Berserker, and that pays off before deck control ever happens.
Mhm. Were you around when the advisor memes were popular?
I remember the bad advisor meme, yeah.
It was good times. Mm. It is also a funny theme, being the worst advisor in the world most of the time.
Yeah, back when the typical meme template was, what do you call them? The advice animals.
Yeah,
A common meme was
yeah,
the advisor picture and then some stereotypically terrible
yeah,
Dominion advice.
yeah. Which makes sense because
Yeah.
those are the cards you get with advisor. Yeah, I enjoyed that time.
I'm surprised only 2 riverboats have been gained. Looks like quite a good card here to me. And it's a card you can get into play
Mhm.
for free with a sailor.
Ooh, this is tricky. To what do you discard here?
I'm not
Berserker,
sure.
like having to like put a berserker in play yourself is not that often good, I would think.
Yeah.
But I tend to also say advisor has to go.
I mean, if you're Yuri, the discard is, I guess, mildly painful. You discard a copper, which isn't a big deal, and a sailor, which kind of is. I'm guessing so they do discard the advisor and let the berserker attack hit. Probably the thing that you'd be wanting to do, if not berserker attack, would be play the sailors, play the riverboat, buy a second riverboat, getting it into play, and then next turn you'll get a bunch of horses and hopefully score a bunch off your collections, and then
Mhm.
this discard attack is going to make that not quite work out, unfortunately.
Yeah. So can there ever be a small mega turn where you get multiple r- play multiple
Yeah.
sailors, get multiple riverboats, and then hope to draw all the collections the turn after?
Yeah, I think you're hoping for kind of spiky turns like that, where you get a
Mhm.
few riverboats plus a few collections and you score a bunch of points on one turn. Then your next turn is just setting back up. Okay, yeah, they just discarded all the treasures and are hoping to have a better turn here.
Hmm. I would think you discard the sailor here. The
The
turn
trouble is
is
now
very
there's a
short.
bunch of berserkers and you're stuck discarding all of them
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
protect yourself.
And if you discard the first one, might
Yeah,
as well
looking at how
discard
this
the
is,
second
has
one.
gone, it seems like it would have been better to just let Minionpawn have all of the mini terminal action cards in their deck, and then they probably would have gotten to play a berserker over a sailor. But then they would have had, oh well, they managed to draw them anyway, so I guess it doesn't make a difference. Um,
Yeah, would be funny if we don't play the berserker anyway.
yeah, I think you should probably play the berserker because you can gain a riverboat off the berserker and put it into play, and you'd rather be getting the riverboat in the action phase because it's a 3 cost card, and you want to be getting the 4s in the buy phase, so you're triggering horses with the collections in play.
Mhm.
Oh, this is it's clever. They play the first Berserker, gain a Sailor, play that, and then they can also play the second Berserker. I think gaining a Riverboat. Or I guess maybe they could just gain one more Sailor even, and then play the Riverboat that's already in their hand. Could be even better than what I was suggesting.
That means the piles are. I'm not sure if they are getting scary, but they're getting low. So
Yeah.
3 riverboat. Should that?
Hmm.
Yeah, so we're hoping to. The collection is split 3-3, right? So
Sounds correct to me.
yeah. Okay.
Don't want a free Sailor.
So no mega turn.
I don't know. I would have thought pretty hard
Yeah.
about that.
So the advisor split right now is 5-2, which presumably means something.
Yeah, I'd rather be the one with 5 advisors. Not really sure why they don't want another Sailor. It's not at risk of piling out next turn. There's no way Yuri is taking 4 collections in a turn.
Maybe gotten bad advice.
So yeah, you could take just a bunch of riverboats here with 3 sailors. So they have 4 sailors in play, but one of those sailors played the other sailor. So they have 3 sailor effects still lingering. So you could buy 3 riverboats, get all of those in play now, and then next turn you'll generate oodles of horses.
Boatload of horses.
We're instead going with 1 river boar,
And a sailor now.
an advisor, and a sailor. So they did want 1 more sailor, but they didn't want 2 more sailors. 2 was too many.
But I couldn't have gotten the sailor and then something else, right? So they saw the trick but didn't do it twice. And surely we could have used something else.
Yeah, like they clearly noticed that like
Yeah.
Berserker could gain Sailor, play it free because they did do it the once, and then they said that's enough for me. I'm stopping there.
Yeah. So Team US can look at turn 9 again afterwards in the performance review. Or was it turn 10? Turn 10.
Turn 10.
Yeah. What's going on there? I think they could have gotten the 2VP anyway, right? Or am I lost by gaining something else in the buy phase then?
Uh,
Or was it
so I don't think it would have
essentially
changed the amount of points they got. Right. I'm
yeah.
not exactly sure which set of possibilities Maho is considering. The thing I was imagining was playing 1 more Berserker in the action phase, getting an extra Sailor, which wouldn't have scored points because it was in the action phase, but would get an extra Sailor into the deck. And I think the main value of that is not having more Sailors in your deck, which isn't clearly good. It's having 2 more money next turn, which is probably good.
So this is a shorter turn.
Where's all your advisors? Where'd they go?
So
This didn't quite work out the way you'd want it to.
at
It's
least we got
supposed to
2
be
connections in play.
it's supposed to be more advisors than hand.
Mm-hmm. How scary
Hmm.
is 3 berserkers? It's very close to, I guess, very close to winning, but 1 collection off.
Hmm.
It is quite a few points, yeah.
Yeah, I think you should take a bunch of berserkers because you want the points.
Ooh, we got a fortune hunter. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Advisor is empty, and you'd really like to gain a 4 cost card to trigger the livery effect. So it's either Fortune Hunter or Cut Purse, and Fortune Hunter it seems ever so slightly better than Cut Purse. Probably neither is getting played.
Yeah, but I agree that I don't think you should get cut purse, right? Fortune Hunter can find a collection.
Yeah, just in
Is
these decks, the chances that you play
yeah,
either of them with your one action are close to zero.
a zero. So
Um,
the AI would flip a coin because there's no no decision here. Okay,
yeah.
that's fair. This is an even shorter turn.
So I don't see Yuri scoring 33 points here. I'm anticipating a minion pawn victory. Magic number here is 7 and 2 buys. Will we get there? Gotta find one collection.
Okay,
That'll be a
we're there
win.
too. That's good.
Play the cut purse.
Oh,
Oh, nah, that's not how you do that. I mean, this is going to win as well, but they could have won the game without attacking their opponent.
oh,
Actually, I guess that's
but
not really true. You have to buy the berserker either way. They would have attacked him
oh,
at some point. Um,
oh, not with the sheep.
there we go. So they could have dodged the berserker attack, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
How rude. Yeah.
okay, so clearly Yuri has gotten sleepy. Comeback time for Team USA.
One game earlier today, so
That's good news.
still.
Where are the villages? We keep running into no village kingdoms.
Mm,
We have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 terminal action cards and no villages, unless you get lucky off of search and manage to pull staff or orb.
mm.
I think I want to hit 7
Maybe
for canal, and then I want to play blockade a bunch of times, gaining like marchlands and duchies. I think seems to be the game
yeah,
plan to my mind.
there's a
Oh,
victory.
Necropolis. When did you get here? There's a village.
Yeah.
Just the one. Yeah, I think hit 7,
Mm-hmm.
play blockade, rush marchlands and duchies, and try some states, and that'll be better than provinces. There are some villages on the ban/dislike list. I guess Joust
Listed.
isn't
Oh,
itself a village, but it comes with villages. Um,
mm,
Encampment is a village.
Black Market is a village.
Yeah, but and Black Market tends to contain many villages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Dame Anna, one of the knights, is a village. No, not Dame Anna, wrong one.
Yeah,
Dame Holly.
they were.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant. I know the knights.
the knights. Yeah, unlike the allies, I do know the knights as well.
I don't think possession of the village. Possession is a cantrip. You take an extra turn, which you have one action.
Yeah.
How do you
Okay,
open?
so
I
how do we get to the blockade thing? Probably blockade open is the
think I like Minion Pawn split better.
ruler.
Turn 1 blockade, turn 2 asceticism trashing the hovel. Or maybe asceticism trashing the Ogren State actually. Because then you can trigger a shuffle that will likely have your blockade on top. You'd rather play the blockade turn 3.
Interesting.
Um,
Can you give me a rundown how to play asceticism on like default kingdoms? I've
I
not.
think if it cost 1, it would be
Mm-hmm.
so much stronger than at 2. The
Mm-hmm.
way the numbers work out in the early game, it's always just slightly awkward. So, like, if you have 3 money, you got 2 junk cards in hand, but you can only trash the 1. If you got
Yeah.
4 money, you have enough to pay 2 for asceticism, but you only have 1 card left in your hand to trash. And it's just so often that it ends up working out just ever so slightly awkwardly where you have 1 money too little to trash as many as you'd ideally like to. It's still not bad. Silver plus asceticism trashing 1 estate is an opening that's 100% guaranteed to hit 5. And so there's plenty of times when just trashing 1 card looks good. Um, I don't think it's a power event.
Oh, look at this. We got a mountain folk open.
Where did that get here?
Even importer. That means asceticism now, right?
Hmm.
The only thing that
Do
it
you want
can
to
be.
trash the necropolis? How do these? I think you could play 3 coppers, overpay by 3 on asceticism, and trash Hovel, Overgrown Estate plus whichever copper you draw. I think works out. And probably you'd rather hold on to the necropolis. That's not entirely clear.
Yeah. Is it possible to draw? I mean, it is possible to get 7, right? But on a lucky draw.
Yeah, I think once you clear out some of these
Mhm.
estates, and then I don't know, it's like blockade a silver or two, you'll have a turn where you hit 7 somehow. Maybe you should have saved the mountain folk. I didn't even think about this, to be perfectly honest. But like possibly you save that for a few turns and use that to spike 7 on like turn 5 or something.
Yeah. But
Maho says you
without
can't
Hubble,
trash the drawn card. Oh, I think you're right. So there are some cards that like trash one at a time. Remake
mhm,
says trash something, then do it again. Infirmary trashes one at a time. But by default, effects like Chapel and Forge and Asceticism in this case, you choose all the cards to trash simultaneously, and then you do all the trashing. So I think they're right that you actually would not be able to draw a card and then trash the copper. So you're either trashing all of your shelters and losing the Necropolis forever, or you're just trashing 2 cards. Possibly that's still correct. The Necropolis does seem like it has a lot of value. I'd love to be able to play 2 blockades a turn. Imagine if Yui does not draw Hovel. This would have been so bad. So sad. A barge. Oh,
Oh,
that's
wild.
an interesting choice. Make it could work out.
Okay.
Maybe they buy blockade here. They
Hmm.
play Necropolis barge, draw into the blockade, and have a lovely turn. What a surprise! Fearful loves the sad $5 buy where you take the terminal draw card in place of the $4
Yeah,
card
but
you really
oh my
wanted.
god. Without the village. With one mountain folk. That's the one mountain folk you
Hmm.
get. That's
That's the one and only.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no other source of favors in this kingdom except for the 5 that you started with in Porter. So that's a one and done thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
here we go.
so Minionpawn I think has the better split of it. Triple
So he
asceticism,
just
trashing 3 cards.
yeah, that was nice. And
I
then
agree. This
if
seems
it's the
clear to
only
me.
trashing, yeah, if it's the only trashing, you try to get a big trash somewhere in the mid game, presumably. Get rid of some coppers. Maybe not in this kingdom, but in where you can build more fun things.
What?
Yeah.
What on
Ooh,
earth are you doing?
and the search, yeah.
Getting too
Okay.
fancy here. That's not right.
Fine.
You've opened with a marchland.
Man,
They saw Yuri burn their 1 mountain folk for the game on barge and said, "I gotta one up that somehow."
yeah, it's good we see some innovative Dominion.
In 10 turns, that marchland's gonna be worth a bunch of points.
Uh,
Yeah, I think asceticism trashing 3 cards seemed super obvious.
maybe they, yeah.
Sad Yuri finds both terminals and no necropolis. Okay, so if you gained a silver here, you're probably not hitting 7 because you didn't trash your Overgrown Estate, so you still have tons of junk down there. Um, Probably just one more blockade then. Death Cart, the obvious choice.
I like this game.
Well, I guess we're gonna trash the search to get to Canal,
No, my
or maybe we're gonna
search,
trash the
my
search for
job.
You could just pop the death cart for 5 money and then buy double marchland.
Ooh,
Is clearly the reason Minion wanted the death cart.
that's a way to get cat to canal, right?
Yeah, I think they're gonna buy Canal. Maybe the plan here is to do a big asceticism with the money. Like you could trash the search and then trash 3 coppers. Yeah, they could. Yeah, I think Canal's the better choice. Sadly,
If they get to
the
keep
death card is
Minionpawn.
not finding any of the ruins here.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Iris notes the real value of the death cart blockade, which is they blocked Yuri from gaining a death cart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Yuri's still not hitting 7 quite yet. Presumably, you want one more blockade, I would think, and then maybe asceticism, trashing overgrown estate and copper.
What is the least likely next kingdom card to be gained?
At this point, who's to say? Uh,
I mean, Armory sounds like pretty out
yeah,
of
it gotta be
left,
armory,
right?
right? Because
Like you
blockade is
think?
just armory but better.
Yeah. I mean, with Canal Importer also really is a very hard sell, I'd say.
Faithful Hound, you could conceivably go for if you were planning to do something with Innkeeper.
Marshland Faithful Hound? Is there something there?
Innkeeper. So, like, imagine you get 3 Faithful Hounds,
Yeah,
and then you do Innkeeper,
yeah.
draw 3, pitch 3 Faithful Hounds, put them back in your hand each turn.
Yeah, what about Marchland? Can't you do also?
Yeah, Marchland also has some
Just,
Faithful Hound synergy.
yeah. What is happening here?
Yeah, this is the card
Is
game
being asked
Dominion.
by the and one of the most dominion-y things. Oh, somebody said Hound. You lost.
You thought the least likely card to be gained
Yeah.
was Hound?
Yeah. I mean, that was. Yeah, no. I mean, I think the Hound is actually a fairly reasonable card here with all the discards. Why these guys are playing? They're playing to be the world champion, to the team world champion.
Yes, this is the World Cup. We got the top 4 U.S. players versus the top 4 Japanese players. I believe Minionpawn and Yuri are third seed each.
Yeah. Donald was also here yesterday for your match, so I'm hoping that's enough context. And it
Ah,
is 2-1 to Yuri at the moment. We also have a cavalry that makes sense opportunistically. Can even play it this turn.
Yuri will need to get a death cart and trash the cavalry.
Yeah, Innkeeper is good with all the hounds that are coming in. And searches are going to be great now, right? The Martians will be gone eventually, and then we get all the staffs.
Yeah, yeah. Just plan on having staff as
Get
the top loot.
Hammer. Yeah, Hammer also very nice.
I'm
There's already some.
thinking Marchland Faithful Hound here, probably for Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we never got around to trashing this Overgrown Estate. Might be too late for that.
Yeah. Yeah. How sad are you about the Necro leaving minion stack?
Uh, they have a lot of terminals, I must say. But, I mean, the death cart has to feed.
Yeah.
Probably still too early to want a bunch of estates, though that's not entirely clear. Aha! Marshland
Another
has been
search.
blockaded.
Haha.
So as Yuri, do you take marshland anyway? Taking a curse? Do you take a duchy? I would strongly consider blockading marshland. It's just the card that your opponent is very likely to want to buy on the next turn. You take a curse, but you're either cursing them back or creating quite an inconvenience. And then the plus buy could be valuable here. You get 2/2 costs if you want them. Maybe around now, 2 estates could be worth considering. It's not clear to me. Is this better than big money with barge? I think for sure blockade plus marshlands looks very good. Some of the finer details here
Yes.
elude me.
Barge big money sounds pretty bad, right? With nothing else to support it.
Yeah. If you were to play with barge, I mean, you could definitely get an
And
engine
they
going with like, you could play 4 barges in total with an Acropolis, and then you do some amount of like Innkeeper and Faithful Hound for additional draw and build a working engine. I think it's gonna be a little bit slower than the blockade Marchland Duchy stuff, most likely.
Mhm.
They've discarded the horse.
Oh, I would say Yuri is very much ahead, actually. Look at this. Deck drawn, essentially.
3 estates here.
Um,
Maybe that's premature. Maybe I'm actually not sure what you would gain. No, I think I like three
One hound,
estates.
one more hound.
They just want one more innkeeper.
Disagree. I think one hound, 2 estates. It's reasonable.
I was just thinking you could rush down estates and then either duchy or ruins. Ruins are easy to pile because you can gain death card to gain ruins 2 at a time.
Mhm. So only Yuri got a loot
Ooh,
since that
sad
other
draw for
search nearly
Yuri.
crashed.
Despite
Yeah,
taking additional innkeeper, they didn't find either of them. And
true.
there's no way to discard this
And got a
faithful hound now.
Dutch. Yeah.
There's all the innkeepers hiding on the bottom. Okay, minion pawn.
Province.
Yeah, I think province looks good.
Now the search looks less appealing to play, I think.
Yeah.
Now the margins are gone. Okay. Yeah, well, but the death cards, I mean, not sure if it worked out, but it did something this game.
What is the marshland split? Good question. Let's find out.
Yeah. Isn't that
Minion Pawn got the
fat?
first 4 marshlands, first 5 marshlands. Yuri got 2. It is 6-2. Oh, that's nasty. I am gonna have to say Yuri is not ahead. 6 marshlands is a lot of marshlands,
Mm,
and I'm scrolling poorly. Um,
yeah.
ooh, this
6
ruin
3.
market's
He needs
gonna
another
be valuable
ter
by 2 estates.
terrible hand here again.
Yuri believed in the faithful
So
hound innkeeper, and it has just not panned out.
uh, yeah, we play the orb and play an innkeeper maybe?
I'm not sure what you do here. It's like you could play the faithful hound,
Okay.
and the reason they're not, presumably, is because they're considering whether they'd rather use the orb to play something from the discard. Uh,
Yeah.
Playing an innkeeper would
And then you
let you reset the faithful hounds, and you're passing up on a lot of money and buys doing that. So they're going to do that anyway, or maybe they'll play the blockade for like double duchy. I don't know. Yep, they are doing the innkeeper.
Mhm. And we got 1 money out of it as well.
I
So
think
yeah,
this was
this
like
is
a
a little
real
hard to
bad
see
spot for
how
Yuri.
you. Oh, look at
Hmm.
this. We are back.
Oh,
Cavalry coming in.
okay. This is clever. I like this. Uh, It doesn't make me think that Yuri's not in a bad spot, but it was a nice little play.
Yeah. It's hard to see where the scoring should come from, right? Maybe a death card as well? No, same.
Cavalry is like one of the, I think, highest skill cards in Dominion. Using it properly is so challenging.
Absolutely. We had to play one hound. That's okay.
Cav is Death H Rad. Maybe? If I knew what that meant. Aha! Yes, cavalry is hard.
Red is an old school word, right?
Yeah.
People saying call it
People don't know
red.
about the silent H at the beginning of Rad.
Yeah, that
Cav
sounds
is
very
a
sad.
radical card.
Even cooler. Yeah.
Continue is also a very tricky one.
It's 48 to 26. And
Big
these
number.
states end the game, and they are worth more for Minionpawn.
So it turns out the Death Cart plan was better than the Barge.
Yes. Some interesting game to review and think and find
Yes.
out what other players would do at Kingdom. Maybe we'd find someone else who would share these openings.
Okay, two,
Oh yeah, that
two,
was
I believe.
March opening.
the,
2-2,
the,
yeah.
the Marchline Open won the day. Uh,
So we steal 5-2 with the goat in the wrong hand, so presumably not happy with that.
An actual 5-2 would be better because you could just buy Stampede turn one. Alas, this one is in fact the 2-5, which is a
Yeah,
relevant difference
that's the
here.
2-5.
So we got draw with Pilgrim, villages with Recruiter, and Harbor Village, trashing with the goat that you start with, plus scrap, plus buy. Mining Road looks pretty good here. Herbalist looks like Herbalist. Scrap also says plus buy. Uh,
Mhm.
looks pretty straightforward, I think. Payload's probably going to be treasure focused, but Mining Road makes those easy to acquire.
Yeah. Can play with a lot of the kingdom again, I would say, right? Herbalist, maybe not.
I
Coin,
think, yeah, Herbalist is the only card I would
unnecessary.
definitely not gain here. Um, Everything else seems like it could conceivably have value. I agree, coin seems relatively low importance here because you have Recruiter, which will also be, a stock of villages that you can use whenever needed. But I could imagine gaining coin.
Yeah. With
Probably you
Mining
won't
Road,
see
you can
coin
just
played just
gain
because
one.
Pixie is also at 2. What were you saying about Mining Road?
Yeah, but with Mining Road, yeah, you can just put the coin and play immediately, right? And it's cost
Yeah, I guess
1
maybe if you
then.
had like one extra coin and one extra buy, and a Mining Road didn't play, you'd buy a
Yeah.
coin, play it, and it'd be functionally one money. That'd be a use case.
And we are presumably be using pilgrims, right? So having
Yeah.
them and not needing to trash expensive stuff could be
Um,
fine.
no Pixie OL Trash Copper is an opening. I don't know why you would decline a Pixie. I guess the idea being to buy the Overlord turn 1 instead of turn 2.
Mm.
Pixie's a pretty good card. Buy Recruiter or trash and buy Overlord. I think I am on board with the turn 2 Recruiter buy from Minionpawn for going the Copper Trash.
What are you hoping here for with the pixie? What's the best boon
For
on top?
best
Minion.
Pixie boon early on, I think I like
Sapphire?
the Swamp's Gift.
Swamp? Okay, Swamp. Yeah, Swamp is very good here. Fair.
Swamp's just always a real good one to get early when you still got a bunch of junk left.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. And you
You know,
can play
C's
with
gift could be good
levels.
as well. So Yuri's got the 3/4. Um, not sure what the best opening is there.
Tic-tac-toe is... Okay, I guess with Recruiter, it's not super trivial to trash a state of a copper. If you want to open like Pixie Overlord.
Yeah, like both Recruiter and Scrap can
Otherwise,
trash the estates for benefit, which is some reason to want to trash the coppers with Goat. But then,
oh,
you know,
Anvil.
the threes that you might want to buy require that you trash the state instead. Yuri goes
I
with
did not expect
Anvil
the Anvil.
Overlord. Anvil lets you gain Harbor Villages early, which is not bad. I suppose it makes sense not to take a Scrap, because the Overlord will deal with the estates using Recruiter, and then Scrap doesn't have very good targets. What did Minionpawn end
I
up doing?
just looked
Recruiter, okay.
the Recruiter. Yeah. And the Overlord as well on turn 4. I mean, not
I
having
think,
the Overlord turn 3, Recruiter turn 3 is, I guess, not the best, but this is looking fine, right? Just play another Recruiter. Yep.
yeah. Oh, that's a great boon. Take that. Take that immediately. I don't know why we're
Can
stopping
we
to
buy
think.
another Overlord? Or
And do you want another Overlord immediately? Quite possibly. You're taking 8 debt. The Overlords can be a bunch of payload. I'm on the fence on the Overlord.
what do you want next turn?
Actually,
What do you
I
need
think
money for
I'm gonna
next
say
turn?
pass on the Overlord because I think the ideal next turn involves trashing this last estate with a Recruiter, then playing the Overlord as a mining road. And then if you're out of debt, you could do something like buy an anvil, play it immediately, gain another thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the Anvil consideration. Yeah. Buy a gold. What do you say
Be
to that?
ridiculous, Fearful.
That's offensive.
But I'm gonna talk to the rest of the A team, and we're gonna see about getting Fearful replaced. How does Harbor Village plus Overlord work? I think not the way you'd want it to. Harbor Village, I think, is only going to check whether the Overlord itself made you money, not whether the card that Overlord played made you money. Oh, I've been getting that wrong. Sorry. Fear Kowal. My bad.
It sounds like he's the one who should be afraid.
Huh. I'm pretty sure I originally thought it was Furkle and somehow got convinced that it was Fearkle. Maybe someone else said Fearkle and I just assumed they must have been right. I feel like it changed for me over time at some stage. The one that annoys me is Fire Coal. Okay, but that makes sense. Fire Coal.
Mm-hmm.
Coal does. Like
I
a
associate coal with fire. Yeah.
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 All right, Fire Coal it is.
Okay.
No one was thinking
Talk
Fire
about...
Coal until you brought it up. That's entirely self-imposed.
Yeah. Yeah. But can you top it when the next goal suggestion comes up?
Mhm. Yeah.
And having an even more annoying version of that name.
Yeah, every time you suggest buying gold, the name gets worse.
Yeah.
Haha, self-burn.
Look at this hand from Yuri.
That
It's a
is a
turn one hand.
sad, sad draw in a kingdom where this is a very powerful kingdom as far as early starts go. You start with a goat for trashing. You have a overlord that can get you an immediate recruiter in your deck, and you're somehow still hitting three with two estates. That's just a tragic draw.
Yeah.
Minionpawn does look very ahead. Yeah, the River's Gift was a great pull off of that pixie.
Yeah. Looks like I'll be cheering for Yuri comeback in the 6th game
Hmm.
for them maximum tension into the finals tomorrow.
Someone will have to go see whether the Japanese are in despair right now. They usually watch live over in their Discord and the
Oh.
voice
Yeah, we
channel.
haven't seen much Japanese in the chat here, right? In a
Silly
while.
Potter was talking earlier. I think their MO is usually they just have like one big group chat where they're all talking in voice, and so there's less text conversation. Let's see if that's
Let's
happening.
see.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them watching. I see Agu, Koji, Kazumaru, Yune. They're all in a big voice chat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're moaning and gnashing their teeth.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's a Japanese Discord server for Dominion.
Yeah. Can somebody ask in Japanese in the chat how they like the barge open? I'm
I'm sure they were
curious
all
what they
saying, why didn't Erie open Marchland? It was so obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be really funny if that were true.
Yeah.
And I would like to know about it, so but I don't have a channel of communication with them, unfortunately. So yeah, Minionpawn is just cruising along, right?
Yeah.
Buying stuff that is good.
We'll see if Yuri
Because
manages to find the best move here. I think it's not too hard to spot.
is it clicking recruiter?
Close. It does start with an R.
Okay, I see where you're going. There is seize the day, so presumably there is a way where if Minionpawn is getting careless then and leaves the pile out,
Yeah.
even to a way weaker deck. I'm
Sneak
not
back.
sure how disrespectful that is to assume, but it is. Especially because it doesn't get that explosive here, right? It's hard to play 5 anvils a turn.
Yeah,
Or
you could always
rather
have a
than
freak
5
dud. There's
anvils.
not much you can do for reliability. Maybe you top deck one extra draw card with your pilgrim each turn or something.
Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, I would say it's not explosive enough that there is like a sneaky pile out that can realistically happen.
Starts with an R and is not a recruiter. A lot of things.
A lot of things.
Yeah, Matt got it. Yuri needs to click wrapped immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Are cool. Yeah, the harbor villages are also Yeah, they are cards, I guess.
Harbor Village I find to be one of the surprisingly tricky rules interaction wise.
Mm.
The heuristic is just to assume that if you're asking, does Harbor Village work? The answer is probably not. In most of the marginal
I
cases, the
remember.
answer is it doesn't do the
Yeah,
thing you'd want it to.
yeah. It is sometimes funny. I think it was also tricky to implement. There's
Yes.
often like one card in the set where you think, okay, that's pretty simple, and that's the hardest one to.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
concept of like gave you money is not an already well defined thing. And it's like, how does it
yeah,
interact with the coin token? It doesn't work the way you'd want it to. How does it interact with ways? Actually, I think the ruling on how Harbor Village and ways work has gone back and forth. So I don't even know how that one works at this point. I believe it's
yeah.
changed over time. Harbor Village on a throne room that plays money doesn't work. Way of the Sheep does work now. I think it originally didn't, and maybe that changed.
Okay, yeah. I hope it also works with Way of the Monkey then.
I remember there was some problem where some, I think, seemingly totally unrelated weird rules interaction uh, had a indirect connection to Harbor Village plus Ways, where it created an inconsistency between Harbor Village Ways and some other thing. And I
Mhm.
think that was resolved by changing the way Harbor Village and Ways worked. I'm not recalling at the moment, but it got convoluted. Stuff playing other stuff is often the culprit for the weirdest Dominion rules interactions. Where's DZ when you need him?
Mhm. That's the great thing about alchemy. There you know which card is the hardest to program.
Mm-hmm.
It's very obvious.
Harbor Village Way of the Mouse Herbalist does not work, tragically.
It is not. Oh, but Way of the Sheep does. Huh. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is the problem of Harbor Village.
Oh, because you're playing like a la carte, yeah. Is Way of the Mouse a command? Basically.
Functionally,
Very
yes,
functionally, yes.
but technically, no.
Yeah. I spot another 3 copper to a state hand in Yuri for Yuri. Oh, that's really cool.
Poor Yuri. What are these draws? Yeah, pixie
It's
boons are another one
cool.
that don't work. Like I said, just assume that it doesn't work. You'll occasionally be wrong, but you'll usually be right.
Mhm.
Um,
And then the payoff is 1 coin. That is also a little.
yeah. Hmm.
From the interaction database. But
I
what is
believe
that?
Fabi's got a running system of all the weird card interactions.
Oh,
Chameleon is a confusing one. I I think this has changed, but I'm not entirely sure. It used to be that if you played Border Guard using Way of the Chameleon, that technically does the exact same thing because Border Guard doesn't draw cards; it puts cards in your hand. Except the lantern, the card that makes or the what do you call it? The artifact that makes Border Guard see 3 cards
yeah,
instead of two
yeah,
wouldn't work
yes.
if you played it using Way of the Chameleon because it only affects Border Guard itself and not Chameleon playing Border Guard. And
Oh,
so Chameleon Border Guard would make you reveal 2 cards instead of three, even if you had the lantern. And I think that ruling has changed. Don't quote me on that.
okay. I remember a time when I knew how Dominion worked. This very apparently has been passed.
There's
Uh,
in terms of stuff you need to know, that's very low down the list of things you need to know. Like, does
yeah,
my Border Guard work if I Chameleon it for no reason? Um,
that's fair enough. But
Probably the most relevant weird rules interaction that's strategically very important is understanding how Siren works.
mm,
Um,
yeah, top decking still works, yeah.
yeah, that knowing which type of top deck effects allow you to bypass Siren's trashing restriction.
Mhm.
I did make a helpful video on how to play Dominion with Siren, but would be worth looking
Oh,
if anyone's confused.
I should missile theory.
Not
Is
the
it just
missile
an
launch animations. Sorry to disappoint.
is it just the assumption that there's gonna be a missile attack on your discard
It,
pile, and if it
this was an
misses,
analogy I used once to explain Siren, which is
okay,
like
beautiful.
imagine the Siren is like shooting a gun in itself. And
Okay.
so the type of effects that dodge Siren's trashing effect are the stuff that cause Siren to jump out of the way of the gun just in time. And so if it's a card that changes the default gain location of Siren, like I think blockade or stuff that like gains it to a spot, that doesn't
Yeah.
cause Siren to fail to trash because it is where it was starting at. So the place the gun was initially pointed, it still hits the Siren. And there's stuff
Okay.
that gains Siren and then later moves it. So like spell scroll or
Okay.
replace, you gain the card,
Yeah.
and then as a new instruction, you move the card to the top of your deck or you move it into play. That fails because it's too slow to dodge the gun. You need something that moves Siren out of the way right as you're gaining it, and that's in time to dodge the Siren.
Okay. Can you repeat the middle part? The too slow one. What was the example?
So replace and spell scroll are the two
Yes.
examples that immediately come to my
Yeah.
mind. Where like replace says trash a card, gain a card, period.
Yeah.
If it's a blah 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 top deck it, and
Yeah.
because there's that
Oh,
period, the effect is
would
too
trash.
slow because the siren would trash itself after the first instruction but before the second one. So you need something that says like when you gain this top deck it,
Mm-hmm.
and then that happens
So
just in time to dodge it.
armory is actually good with siren cost. Yeah. Armory is fast. Armory is fast enough to
No, I think
dodge
Armory
the
is in
gun.
the first case. Armory just gains a card to the top of your deck, and so
Okay.
the Siren would
I
trash
see.
itself.
Okay.
Examples of stuff that would work would be like Watchtower or Tracker or Progress.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that says like when you gain this top deck it. So it was by
Okay.
default going to be gained somewhere, and then it
Mm-hmm.
moved.
Mm-hmm. Is this a game where you need to be tilted 4 times? Isn't it just hasn't it just been lost turn 3 and then
It'd been lost for a bit, and then Yuri kept drawing 3 coppers and 2 estates till the game was well and truly over. Um, I guess that's the real risk to playing on is if you're going to lose anyway, playing on just demotivates you going into game 6.
mm-hmm. Well, Holt said like drain their opponent's brain power,
Yeah. Also,
make them
again,
play
considering the
longer
time
than
zone differential, Yuri probably has a strategic interest in getting to game 6 quickly.
So scrap does work with Harbor Village, yeah. Okay. That is expected.
Yes, scrap makes money on its own. What was the order of the wins and losses in the first match? The Furcol versus Koji one. Was it also front loaded with Japanese wins? I can't recall.
I did not see the
FPA,
order.
so it was just back and forth.
Okay. Who started though? Okay. US.
It doesn't fit the theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're just gonna discard it and publish our
Yeah,
paper just with yours and this one.
find a way to massage the data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cleaning up outliers is
Yeah,
is
exactly. It
that's
was an
that's
outlier.
that's that's like the first order. First order, easy. So, do we buy, dare say, gold?
I dare to say it. Looks like we need more plus buy. How about a mining road? Yeah, there we go.
Or mining road? Nope.
Overlord.
Overlord. Theory was that the games between US and Japan start early for the Americans, so they're asleep, and late for the Japanese, so they fall asleep. Meaning that Japan wins the first games and US the later ones.
Yes, like if we disregard the outlier case, the last match
Yes.
was 3 Japanese wins followed by 3 American wins, and this match has been 2 Japanese wins followed by 3 American wins, which fits the
Yeah.
theory perfectly. You can tell exactly when the Japanese player starts to get tired and when the Americans' coffee kicks in. Oh,
It's
you know
so
what it
fun.
was? Didn't the Furkle match start an hour later than the other 3 matches?
And
That's what it was.
Virgil didn't have coffee, so
Furkle needed to start earlier if they wanted the effect to take place.
yeah, yeah. And didn't follow the coffee instructions, so you know. That's like 2 reasons for exclusion from the data. Oh, what a shock. No coffee and tired. Maybe we should publish a paper about that.
What would coffee do if it was an event in Dominion? Uh,
A
I
coffee
think
house or something? Should be card, no?
the thing that's, I guess, the event that makes me think of coffee the most is a mass, where it kicks you into gear quickly, and then after that ends up not being so useful for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, continue would be a good example. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it going.
Yeah. DVX will wake up and smack you all for Pokemon fan cards. Yeah.
So Yuri on turn 9 has just trashed their final estate.
I think Yuri's deck has fewer cards than Minionpawn has good cards.
Yeah, Minionpawn trashed their last estate turn 4.
I mean, Yuri forfeited the game today when he was mathematically eliminated from that game. So, or very
He is not quick to
essentially a
resign.
1-0. Yeah. So is this, does he have more than a 0.x% chance to?
Hmm. I'm not confident that he does.
Okay.
Maho asks, can Minion Pawn win this turn? Maybe. I don't think Seize the Day's been gained yet, right?
I don't think so.
Nobody's bought Seize the Day. So Harbor Village is low. Anvil's not very low, but you could like gain a bunch of anvils this turn, buy Seize, win on the next turn. I mean, you probably shouldn't do that because like, why lower piles and risk dudding when you don't need to? But my guess is if Minion Pawn set his mind to it, he probably could win this turn using Seize the Day to take a second turn.
Yeah. I mean, Seize the Day clearly is a project, but it wasn't wrong expansion, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah, Project would make a lot of sense for Seize the Day. It's like put your 1 cube of the game on the Seize thing. Inheritance also is one that clearly should have been a project, except projects didn't exist
Yeah.
yet when
Yeah.
Adventures happened.
Ooh, Inheritance. What a cool card.
I enjoy Inheritance. I don't think I'm very good at Inheritance. I go for it even when it's probably better to just trash your states.
Mm.
Turns out it's hard to hit 7 quickly if you don't trash any of your states.
You can also get that Great Hall feeling by
Yeah,
inheriting.
that's why I like it.
Yeah.
It fills the void where Great Hall should have been.
2-2.
2-2 with an asterisk because it's basically 3-2 already.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, we play the gain and play the silver. Yay.
Mhm.
So do we start buying a green card now?
Probably want a few more draw cards. You certainly could buy a province here if you felt like it.
Mm. I feel like looking at another kingdom, but it would be rude to point it out in chat as Minionpawn. So I guess you probably want to seize before you get turns with green cards in your deck.
Yeah, so right about now would be a good time to buy Seize the Day when your deck is at its maximum capacity. Also, as Minion Pawn, I think you just would like to have a points lead to avoid any daring Seize shenanigans with Yuri.
Yeah.
Uh, I think at a minimum, I'd either buy a province or buy Seize the Day, and then buy provinces on the Seize the Day turn to take enough of a points lead to avoid some freak pile out thing where Yuri, recklessly lowers the anvil pile and then you dud, and then Yuri piles up the rest on the next turn or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we got 13, 15, 17 money. Seas costs 4, province costs 8. That leaves 5 money left. Maybe you throw a pilgrim in there,
Why did we not play all the silvers?
considering buying an anvil maybe and using mining
Yeah,
raid
I
to play it
suppose.
immediately. If Minion Pawn bought 3 Stampedes here, I do believe they would still be in the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look at how many extra cards we played. So how many overlords? I guess only 3? How many mining roads? Okay, province over. Pilgrims
Passed up on a
back.
free silver, didn't they? Or yeah, I think they had a second mining road that they could have used the effect of, and for 1 money, you can gain a silver and play it. Make you spend 3 to get 2 money back. Perhaps I just didn't want another silver. I'm not sure what the plan is here for Yuri. Uh, Maybe could you go for a Harbor Village estate pile out across 2 turns using Seize the Day? I wonder if Minion
With
Pawn needed to
forest
take
move?
enough points to have like 9 points so that you're not worried about estates.
Yeah, I agree that this is a pretty big oversight. Seas over province, and then probably even double province on the seas turn.
I mean, is you're looking for a way to win this. To do 8 estates and 2 harbor villages, that's 16, 24, 28, because you also need to buy Seize the Day across 2 turns. Is Yuri hitting about 14 per turn? I don't know. It'll be impressive if Yuri manages to snag this one. I think you got to go for it somehow. You don't want to prolong this. And this seems like the best moment for Yuri to take a gamble and try to win on a sneaky pile out.
Yeah, it looks still so very far away. Look at how many cards. Like, are there pixies left? Could there be like silvers that you can gain and play?
Okay, so we
Or
have a decent looking deck. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out this Harbor Village estate pile out. If I'm Yuri, that's
no?
definitely what I'm thinking about right now. Anvil gaining like, 2 anvils across 2 turns can gain the Harbor Villages, and then you just need to buy 8 estates. You're gonna have fewer buys next turn because you don't have the Forest's Gift. So that's a bit
And
of
you
a
have a bunch of
constraint.
estates in your deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you've got to attempt it. Um,
Yeah.
because you're looking for the outside chance.
Are there other piles that one could consider that make it easier?
I don't
Not
think
really,
so. Like you could
right?
pile anvils,
Yeah.
would be easier to pile out, but then you'd also need to score a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm.
So play the anvil, gain a harbor village, then you have 14 money, maybe more. You can probably scrap the goat for an extra coin and a buy or something, or a coin and a horse.
Coin and a silver,
Um,
maybe you can play if you need it.
I think this looks like a real possibility all of a sudden. 6 points is not
Yeah.
enough. Um,
So is Minionpawn tilt proof? That's the question
yeah,
we should have been asking.
yeah. Like we were saying, this is beyond over, and all of a sudden, it's looking
Mm-hmm.
like a real possibility for Yuri. Um, got a window of opportunity to seize upon. We'll see if they carpe that diem.
So how much money do we have?
I think you're trashing the goat
Yeah.
and gaining a coin and a horse, probably, which would leave you with 14 money to work with. You gain a harbor village off of the anvil. You buy seas. You have 10 money left. Um,
By 5 states and hope to draw.
yeah, yeah. This looks concerning. This looks quite concerning. I'm getting silver from scrapping the goat. No. So you could play the silver immediately if you want the money. Um,
2 states is too little, right?
I think you take a bunch of estates because the biggest concern is probably lack of buys next turn. They have a lot of buys this turn because of the pixie.
Yeah. This
Take a silver and a
silver
horse. Okay.
horse. Okay, that means the difference is there's a silver in deck over nothing. Hmm. Not clear.
Yeah, this makes one more money, but it also adds a silver, which I think is probably worse than nothing because buys are the bigger constraint than money is.
I guess you could also
Yeah, they're
I
clearly
don't know.
going for it. I think Yuri is looking at the Harbor Village estate pile up for sure. So you could buy 5 estates, and then you just need to hit 3 estates in a Harbor Village, or you could buy the Harbor Village now, and then 3 estates.
5 states next time.
Yeah, that leaves more
Yeah.
estates to game, but it leaves you with a slightly better deck.
Mhm.
Um,
I guess there's not really a reason. I guess whether the Anvil gains an estate or Harbor Village next turn, it's just
yeah,
one fewer gain with one more draw. Yeah. That will be
and
difficult to
Yuri can't
art
afford
out.
to scrap 1 estate because 7 estates will still be a win on points.
Ooh, that's yeah,
Yeah,
good
I think I like
point.
5 estates as well, probably. Yeah, if Yuri draws the states and treasure hand one more time, that would be a fitting end to this kingdom.
It would be poetic, yeah.
He's only got the two overlords for draw. It's not a lot of draw.
Mhm.
Get easily dud.
There's a pixie. Do we know what boons are left? Is that maybe the Sea's Gift or something? Probably
Question.
somebody looked at that.
Played a lot of pixies.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Which
last
cycle are we in?
8 pixie plays were Sun's Gift,
Just really good.
Forest's Gift, Wind's Gift, Earth's Gift, Flame's Gift, Field's Gift, and I think that's
Okay.
8 that I just counted, right?
So river is useless, sea is good.
Right?
What are the
Yeah, I
others?
think Yuri's
Earth?
doing all the right things. This was the big
Yeah.
ambiguity we were wondering about: was 3 estates in a harbor village versus 5 estates. Seems he's considering the same thing. You could do, yeah, if you're going to buy the harbor village, I think it does make sense to just go ahead and buy a coin of the realm and get it in play. Very likely that won't matter, but it could. Okay, interesting. A pilgrim. So I'm guessing Yuri counted it out and realized that he would have exactly 6 gains, and so just wanted to maximize the chance that he finds everything.
No
Um,
Moon's Gift, unfortunate.
haven't checked that myself, but I'm going to trust that
Hmm.
Yuri did.
We need to play each Overlord as Mining Road, I think.
Yeah, that is a tall task. That's still
But
one gain short, right? Based on the amount in hand.
and the next card is an estate, so
Or is this getting there? That's 6
no.
gains. Is that going to do it? Exactly. Oh my
Wow.
goodness! What a comeback. Also a bit of a throw there.
Ooh.
um,
Well, yeah, that
yeah,
is.
Yuri was so far behind there. I guess that's why you don't click resign. Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, Japan is not asleep. They're
yeah, they
very
were silently watching.
the, the
Okay, game 6. Now we're gonna need a Minionpawn win as player 2. Continue the 3-3 streak.
so both have a 4-3.
This one looks like a bridge mega turn. You got investment and cage for thinning, also island, also maelstrom. Lots of ways to get thin. Not a lot of draw. It's just the heralds, so you do want to get very thin to make sure those hit consistently. And then you put a bunch
Yeah,
of bridges in your deck, and good things should happen.
yeah. Colony should be relevant. You probably play with Outpost, I would say.
Yeah, I think
Without loot,
outpost is worth it.
I would say. Cage can also be interesting, right? Because you're likely just buying green cards on the last turn if all goes well.
Yeah, I think cage looks pretty good to me here. You could totally get by with scoring over 1 or 2 turns, and in that case, cage is functionally just trashing those cards forever. Okay, my proposed opening is Walled Village Cage.
Walled Village.
Walled Village.
Can you explain?
Thought it spoke for
Feel.
itself.
Yeah.
Um, so
For
I would think
dummies. And
if you're opening with a cage, you probably want to pair it with a cantrip because it'll be sad if you draw your cage with like your one bridge or something and only get to set aside 3 cards. So then I think the options are like Herald, Caravan Guard, or Walled Village. Herald's the card you're probably going to want more in a moment, so it could also be Herald. But Walled Village has the upside of you could play it as Way of the Seal, and then
mm,
it'll still top deck itself for the following turn because the top deck effect isn't contingent on playing it the normal way. Yuri goes for investment. Yeah, that makes sense. Investment obviously is a little sad if you see it in the same hand as Cage, but the upside is an extra trash if you see it in the opposite hand.
mhm.
Minionpawn concurs. And Yuri sure wishes he had a walled village right about now.
I mean, Minion Pawn hopes for a one card missing shuffle, I guess.
Uh, I must say, I'm very happy to see this hand from Yuri. This is about as bad as you could hope for. Cage only setting
Yeah,
aside coppers and no estates, and colliding with the
right.
investment, which also won't trash any estates this shuffle.
Yeah, maybe are you even playing the cage then?
I think you probably still play it. It's not entirely clear that it's better than like I don't know, buying a second cage or buying nothing.
Mm,
It's pretty sad.
yeah.
Now, if we're real lucky, Yuri's gonna bottom deck 2 coppers, then hit 2 again next turn. Nope, not quite.
I mean, 3 is still quite a bit worse than 4. Ooh, wow. This is what we used to call a sombrero. Are we still doing that?
Yes,
That's
the
yeah.
golden sombrero. Well, these openings are both horrible. That
Yeah.
might even be worse than Yuri's opening, because not only do they play neither of their opening buys on turn
Oh,
3 and turn 4, but Minion Pawn is going to have the investment cage collision coming in
yeah,
next turn on turn 5.
yeah.
Oh
But they
boy.
had 4 and the bridge is coming in. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I
This
think
is
you. Oh no 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 no! Don't do that! No, stop. I think the
what's
correct play
the
there
rule?
was weigh the seal on the bridge, and then you put a cage on top because you know you got a bunch of chuck coming up.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We found the 2 people in the world who don't like seals, apparently.
Yep. Grace top deck and a herald. That makes sense.
You know, 6 heralds sounds pretty nice here, right?
It was a nice
Oof.
reveal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does seem as though Yuri is ahead.
It does seem so.
This was destined to be a 3-3 finish. It's just that Minion Pawn donated the free win that he had last game. And now it's Yuri's turn to capitalize on the opponent's golden sombrero.
Mm-hmm. Are we not playing the cage again?
I don't know.
Surely we cut our losses. Wow. Okay.
Did they just have it and not play it at all?
Yeah.
I question that.
Bridge time or another herald?
Uh, I'm going to say one more bridge, or maybe an outpost even, just outpost and nothing.
I like bridge caravan guard. Fully get 2 heralds next turn with that.
Outpost basically says plus buy because you can take another turn and then buy things on that turn.
Are you having that much faith in the deck already? Maybe.
They're pretty thin.
LY annoying. Really annoying. What is?
I
Cage.
think Tracer is trying to
Yeah.
complete Maho's sentence.
Cage is amazingly annoying. Oh, is that a sentence?
Okay, so the good news is Yuri is now far enough ahead to get complacent and let Minion Pawn
Yeah.
sneak in a victory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, outposts work similarly then to C's, right? In the thing where you maybe leave something open.
Yeah. The trouble is Yuri's probably not going to delay their outpost until after the game ends.
Mm.
And will also be taking advantage of the early turns. Look
Oh,
at
look at
this
this cage hand.
cage, beautiful turn 3 cage hand.
Yeah. Why does my opponent have a deck the deck in hand? It's,
Yeah.
oh, but only 4 heralds.
So,
Well,
yeah, Yuri did
yeah.
lose the Herald split, which could make it awkward to play enough bridges.
I
Um,
feel like this could be like the menagerie split yesterday.
yeah, I
Kind of.
think Yuri is likely to be fine regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, new stretch goal. Maybe Yuri gets a little overexcited and buys an island and forgets that island will pop the cage, and then puts a bunch
Oh,
of junk cards back in hand, and then the deck falls apart.
beautiful undo deny right there.
Yep. Wait, are there? Okay, yeah, Yuri only has two cards set aside on the cage. Maybe that doesn't
Yeah.
hurt as much as I was thinking it did. I was thinking that meant two cages down there.
Mm. So what do we like here? Bridge, World Village, World Village.
I'm gonna say two bridges and a walled village. So is Yuri.
Okay. A pretty good outpost turn, I would say.
Well, the bottom decked their investment, but otherwise this turn seems to have gone off without a hit.
Mhm.
They could have considered buying Maelstrom there.
Guildmaster. Ooh.
So they are still considering buying Maelstrom there.
Having 9 bridges would be funny.
Yes.
Then Minionpawn has to green over multiple turns. I guess.
Or just take all the sacks of loot.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, it's not looking great.
How many dots can 9 bridges cost in this deck? I mean, the outpost turns surely would be set.
I think you buy Maelstrom, and then you buy like three walled villages and a bridge.
Okay.
Yuri splits it evenly, two and
Look at
two.
this.
And
Yeah, and look at
look
this.
at this hand. What if one of these bridges was a walled village? Just saying. Minion Pawn's time to
Okay.
take an outpost. Yep.
Let's go.
Okay.
And is there hope?
As you could just set aside a bunch and then yeah, set aside three bridges and then buy an estate to top deck the bridges or put them in your hand next turn. That's probably not. Never mind. That's not the cage.
What?
Forget everything I said. I thought they just played a cage. That cage was already in play.
Okay.
Um, as Yuri, you just cry and pass your turn, and you're still ahead, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we trashed the turn. They revealed the 2 bridges to your opponent just to show,
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
that is look. Not a single herald hit. Minion Pawn can't even play the bridge. Um,
I mean, outpost is pretty good to play. And we can not buy 2 things. That's unfortunate.
you get a
Yeah, 2
caravan
heralds
guard,
down there. Yeah.
constellation caravan guard. But yeah, this
I
is
mean, this
feeling
is
like
also
the
good.
that menagerie game where winning the menagerie split apparently had no correlation to drawing well with menagerie.
Yeah. But surely it has to be outpost and then maybe even bridge caravan guard.
Yeah. I think the thing you were hoping for as Minion Pawn here was to actually have the heralds hit. Then you buy a bunch of bridges and walled villages and try to pile out the rest of the walled villages, which I'm not even sure if that was possible, but it seems like it might have been.
Look at this beautiful turn. Okay, one more Yuri dart. I guess we also need to be careful that that minion just doesn't lose on the next turn.
Maybe you buy Maelstrom just to hand size attack Yuri.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be. I mean, So what are we hoping with the Guildmaster? It's just a meme, right?
I assume the idea of Guildmaster is to get out some curses. If Minion could have gotten a Guildmaster on the non-outpost turn and then given out a curse on the outpost turn, even that wouldn't have worked because you wouldn't have had favors in time. The Guildmaster, I think, is just way
Yeah,
too
right.
slow. Like you have to get
It's
the
one curse
Guildmaster,
on the second Guildmaster.
yeah, then you play the Guildmaster, it generates some favors, and then it doesn't give out the curses until you've drawn your deck and played the Guildmaster a
Yeah.
second time. And even if you have like 10 favors, the Guildmaster is only going to give out one curse per Guildmaster play.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are going for the memes. Go out in style, as they say.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see Yuri's Heralds missing anytime soon. And they
But
don't
only
quite have a
spending
win this
games.
turn. They're
Yeah.
one by short.
Are they? I would say.
They're behind by 2 points, and
Two.
they need to buy out Bridge, Walled Village, and one
Yeah,
victory card.
Duchy is free. Yeah, fair enough.
So if you just
So,
bought 6 Walled Villages here, you'd win on the outpost turn.
Oh, right, the outpost turn is coming up. Okay, yeah. But is the colony not risky? As 6 villages and nothing, not safer. Not 100% sure.
I think both of those things are incredibly low risk, so it's probably not too important which one you choose. Yuri doesn't want to play a Walled Village.
That is disrespectful, Andu.
I assume they're gonna play it as Way of the Seal and then top deck some villages, which I guess is one way to avoid a freak dud.
Are top deck villages? I guess they help when you only draw bridges, yeah.
Yeah, the worst possible draw for Yuri, I think, would just be like a handful of bridges and not enough actions to play them. And top decking Wall Villages avoids that scenario. Yeah, like if you just top deck a bunch of villages,
yeah, absolutely.
then your worst possible hand is playing Walled Villages, drawing into 5 bridges, and that's still enough to win. So I think this is literally a deterministic win here.
Yeah, you only have 3 cards, and if you buy colony and 2 coppers,
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't factor in the fact that your hand size is 3 cards. Maybe that's. I think that's still a win, though, right?
I think 6 villages, and you will get to 2 bridges then.
So if you play one as Way of the Seal, you buy 5 villages in a colony, and there's no possible draw that causes you to lose. Let's say you drew 2 bridges in a colony. Would you have enough money to win? Maybe that's a possible loss. Still seems very unlikely. You're just doing it this way. I found a herald. That'll do it.
That's not looking good. Okay.
Maybe Yuri will hit in buys before buying the bridge. Nope.
Maximum points? No. Not for
Well,
okay.
Unfortunately, it would appear Japan has taken the lead.
Yeah, so we need a 4-2, or the US needs a 4-2 tomorrow.
Yeah, so I think the important game here was Game 5. That was the one that was destined to be the US's win and was squandered. Alas. All right, well, that's the match. Thanks for commentating.